Types or categories of elasticity of supply. To measure the responsiveness of quantity supplied to a change in the price of a good when all other influences on selling plans remain the same. The types or categories of elasticity of supply. They are supply elastic, supply inelastic, supply is unit elastic. Then perfectly elastic and perfectly inelastic.
So hello class. Today we're going to work on elasticity of supply. So price elasticity of supply, just like the price elasticity of demand. The formula is the same. It's percentage change in quantity supplied over percentage change in price. So instead of looking at how quantity demand is changing to a change in price, we're now looking at how quantity supplied is changing to a change in price. So this measures how sellers are sensitive to price changes. So if prices are going up, how much more can sellers supply to the market? We use the same method as before, the midpoint method, to calculate the price elasticity of supply. So for example, if price goes up by 8%, and as a result of that, quantity supplied goes up by 16%, then our elasticity of supply is 16% over 8%, which is 2. Now, just like elasticity of demand, there are a lot of different kinds of elasticity of supply. There are 5 different kinds. The rule of thumb is the flatter the curve, the bigger the elasticity, and the steeper the curve, the smaller the elasticity. So 5 different classifications. We have a vertical one, same idea. It's called a perfectly inelastic supply curve. As price goes up by 10%, quantity supplied is completely unresponsive. So elasticity is 0. The next one is an inelastic supply. Here, if price goes up by 10%, then quantity supplied goes up by less than 10%. So the elasticity is between 0 and 1. Unit elastic is just when price goes up by 10%, we have quantity supplied going up by exactly 10%. So elasticity equals 1. And then elastic supply, we have the same idea. When price goes up by 10%, quantity goes up by more than 10%. And so here the elasticity is greater than 1. Finally, we have perfectly elastic supply, which is a horizontal line. And as price, no matter what happens to quantity supply, price stays the same. So quantity supplied can be Q1 or Q2, but price is still the same. So elasticity is undefined or infinite. Now, elasticity of supply can vary along the supply curve. Often, when we have a factory, let's say, when we're supplying very little to the market, let's say we're just supplying 100 units, and suddenly we got a lot of orders. So we're not utilizing all the factory space. So we are noticing that, all right, we can actually produce more, and we can charge a higher price for that. So in that case, we can get to increase our production pretty easily because we have a lot of idle capacity. But if our factory is already, and in that case, elasticity is greater than 1. But if our factory is already at full capacity, and if we want to increase our production, yes, we can probably, but it gets harder and harder to do that. And so in that case, even if we charge a higher price, even if there's a lot of demand for the product, we are not able to supply as much to the market because of capacity constraints. And so for that, the elasticity becomes less than 1. So this is basically, we're using the same ideas as elasticity of demand to explain elasticity of supply. So the idea is the same. So just if we follow it through, you can calculate elasticity of supply. Try the exercises that we have, and it's going to be hopefully you will get it. If you don't understand it, please shoot me an email and we can talk about it. Okay? Have a good rest of the day.